Soul to Soul. We are a weekly broadcast for dance teachers, studio owners, and those who have a passion for dance education. It is about celebrating the dance life, highlighting our common bond, and the chance to share both the triumphs and struggles within the field that we all love so much. Be sure to check out all our broadcasts at regold.com.
Welcome to another Soul to Soul, and happy Friday night to you. I'm glad you're here with us. Soul to Soul is about authenticity and sharing our passion for an art form that we all love. Tonight is our 6th broadcast, and I'm excited to welcome Tricia Gomez. She's an entrepreneur, a teacher, a leader in our field. Tricia's philosophy for adjusting to change while exploring the opportunities that she sees in the future is a little bit about what we're going to talk about tonight, but I know you're going to be inspired. Before we go there, I want to let you know that next week on Soul to Soul, Terry Mangiarati will be our special guest. Another awesome leader in our field. She is an entrepreneur, a business speaker, studio owner, and a mom of 2 teenage boys, which is her other full-time job. We'll explore how she has survived during these times and how these times have influenced her plans for the future. We get people viewing from all over the place. Please let us know where you're from in the comment box throughout our program tonight. If you have questions or comments, feel free to let us know. I want to thank our friends at recitaltix.com for sponsoring tonight's program. Your support of our community and dance in general is really appreciated. We will learn more about recitaltix.com a little later in the program. So I like to start off with an On My Mind. The On My Mind tradition started with Dance Studio Life magazine, and I've carried it through to Soul to Soul. Sit back, relax for a second. We have New Hampshire here, Buffalo here, Kansas, Maryland. How cool is that? Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being with us on this exciting Friday night. So here we go. Oklahoma just chimed in. How cool is that? So, you're an artistic genius. How do you come up with an idea like that? Motivated to be different is the motto of the teacher who choreographed the piece that everyone is raving about. She's the one who doesn't want to be like everybody else or follow the current trends in choreography. Tricks like grabbing the leg and yanking it behind the head are nowhere to be found in her art. The even bigger feats like forte turns or multiple jumps are not in her choreographic vocabulary. Yet she continues to awe the audiences, judges, and even the choreographers who pepper their dance numbers with those tricks. How does she do it? It's this teacher's personal rule not to use music she has heard before or a concept that she has seen on stage. Throughout the creative process, she often stops herself because her mind flashes to the too typical sign. Her reaction is to go to a new artistic place. She can't stop herself. This dance teacher is the same one who invents new curriculum ideas to continually attract fresh faces to her classrooms. Her goal is to constantly place herself in the category of unique in the pool of dance schools in her area. She knows that being different is her way of staying on top, and her enrollment numbers reflect her philosophy. Each time she creates a new program concept, the majority of dance schools in her area follow suit by imitating her offerings. Yet those concepts usually don't work for the other schools because they don't have the same culture, personality, or clientele that this creative dance teacher does. Simply put, the competition thinks that they can recreate someone else's success by doing what they do. It doesn't work that way. Instead, they need to be creatively or to think creatively and establish programs that are unique to the characteristics of their school. That's how to become a leader rather than a follower. The simple message here is to do what you do best and forget about what everyone else is up to. But keep your eyes, your ears, and your mind open to what you see around you. Take in all that sensory and mental input and craft from it something that is distinctively you. Make a mark that is you. I believe that each of us follows a life path that is a personal journey, with the root embedded in our instinct. Having the ability to tap into that instinct can be the difference between success and I'll say not success. I have the word failure here, but it seems dramatic. Know that you are a unique individual with something special to offer this world, both in dance and in life. I chose that on my mind tonight because I know everybody's thinking about choreography and thinking about what you're going to do this year under these circumstances. Take it someplace you've never taken it before. Create something that you look at and you say, wow, I have never seen anybody do something like that. Have the confidence to break your own boundaries. And if you're a studio owner, 2020 was not an easy situation. Everybody watching will agree. But I think we could also all agree that this year has opened new doors for us. This year has shown us other possibilities other than running classes so many hours a day. We've had to explore new options. We've had to learn this virtual world, which has worked for the dance industry. Let us look forward to what we can individually bring to the table, both in our choreography and in dance education. Don't look up the street. Don't look at someone else that you think is really successful and say, I'm going to do what they do. The way to be a success is to be you and bring you to the table. And that is the foundation of all that you do in the future. How cool is that? Think about that and be you. Okay. Again, thanks everybody for being with us. Look at this. We have Haiti here. We have Connecticut here, Long Island, Massachusetts. Let's hear it from Massachusetts, Ontario, Pittsburgh. Thank you all for being with us tonight. I want to thank recitaltix.com. They have sponsored tonight's program, and we so much appreciate them. Sit back and learn a little bit more about RecitalTix.
RecitalTix.com can help alleviate the stress and hassle that can come with planning dance recitals and holiday shows. Our service simplifies the ticket selling process for you. We offer a customized to your venue online seating chart or general admission tickets. Your customers can order their tickets with any web-enabled device from anywhere. You have the choice to either accept payment online or payment in cash at your studio. All funds collected online are funneled directly to your studio account, not ours. You also have the choice to wear e-tickets containing a scannable QR code or use your own hard tickets. We will block seats to comply with social distance guidelines. In addition, we offer tickets for video streaming if no live audience is possible, or to expand your sales to distant family and friends. This option can be used for live streaming, simulated live streaming, video on demand, and video download. You can choose any or all of them. Streaming tickets come with a link that takes the viewer directly to the video viewing page and prevents sharing. Whether your studio's next performance will be having an in-person audience, a virtual one, or both, RecitalTix.com can make the ticket selling process the easiest part.
Thank you, RecitalTix. We appreciate you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to bring to our Soul to Soul program Tricia Gomez. She is the president of Dance in a Box Publishing and the global director of RhythmWorks Integrative Dance, among many other things. Welcome, Miss Tricia.
Yay! Thanks for having me.
Tricia, I was thinking today as I was preparing for this, I remember meeting you for the first time at a UDMA. How many years ago would you say?
I was thinking about this today too, and it was in 2000, it was probably 2010. It was either 9 or 10. So I remember this very distinctly because I walked up to you and I handed you Hip Hop in a Box. And, and I just said, I don't remember what I said. I handed it to you and said something about I'd love to teach for you, blah, 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 blah. And then lo and behold, like months later, you contacted me and asked me to teach at the so that's been 2019. Let me think about this, 2010. Yeah, no, it was 2010. I was going to teach at the 2011 Dance Life Conference. And I got pregnant. So I accepted, and then I got pregnant, and I had to call you and tell you I couldn't teach because it was my due date. It broke. I was like, I'm doomed. I'll never get another chance.
You weren't doomed. Look at how it turned out.
It worked out okay.
It sure did. And I remember your, how do I want to say this? I could feel your enthusiasm way back then for not only your product, but what you taught and your approach. And I have to say that watching you through these, I'll call it past 10 years, I've seen you become this leader in our field. One of the things that I admire most about your leadership is your philosophy that dance is for everyone. I think that's where our kinship lies, because as much as I appreciate great dancers, great teachers, great choreographers, I, like you, know that dance is really this gift that is something that comes from the inside, and every child, no matter what their ability, can experience this joy that we all able-bodied people already know. Yeah. Comments on what I just said?
No, I mean, I look back from the very beginning of my career as a teacher, and my heart just lies with the beginners, and that those early years where they're just starting to feel like the enjoyment of dance, and it's starting to click a little bit, and there's so much juiciness in those years that, you know, I've raised dancers to become professional dancers, but my heart was just with beginner dancers or people that didn't think it was possible that they can become a dancer, or, you know, I'm not good enough, or, you know, just just to see the joy in someone's face, no matter how talented they are when they're dancing is, I mean, what more can you ask for? It's great to raise professional dancers, but when you can change someone's life just because they're dancing, that's
the gift.
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten letters from people saying, thank you for saving my life, and going through the whole process of like, they were in therapy, they were considering suicide. Their therapist was like, what did you used to do as a child that you loved? And they were like adult, I'm an adult now, but I used to like dancing. And so their therapist is like, find a dance class. And some kind of way they found me and thrived at that point. And so, that's where the gift of dance lies in really affecting someone at that soul level, regardless of talent.
I'm with you. Stephanie Ann says you're a beautiful soul, Miss Tricia.
Oh, thanks.
So, Tricia, speaking of background, I'll start with this, then I'm going to swing around. You were a Laker girl, am I correct?
Yes, you are.
A Laker girl who had not necessarily had a lot of dance experience.
No, I mean, I will say this. I started taking dance class at age 2. And I danced from age 2 all the way through my life. But my dance training, God bless my teachers, they instilled something in me that has stuck. But I wouldn't necessarily say it was the best training. But they inspired me, right? So you don't have to be the best teacher. You can inspire someone. And Paula Abdul was my idol. She was the first CD I had. I loved Paula Abdul. And at this point, I was a team dancer. So I was on my high school dance team, then I was on my college dance team. And one morning, a parent walked into my dance studio and pissed me off. She did something and I was like, I quit. And I called my mom and I'm like, meet me for dinner. And so she met me and I'm like, I'm moving to LA and I'm auditioning for the Laker girls because I wanted to be like Paula Abdul. Well, God bless my mom because I'm an only child. And she was like, so supportive of me, so supportive. So she's like, well, okay, you can go out and audition, never thinking that I was anywhere near good enough to get the job.
And I want everybody viewing to know this. You're coming from a small Louisiana town when you're saying this to your mom, yes?
4,000 people, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So you go to LA and you audition and you make it? How did
Well, here's the thing. So if anybody knows anything about me, they know that I lack the fear gene. Or maybe I have it, I'm just not, I'm too naive to do anything about it. But I walked into this audition and what I did was I looked for the people who all had the same shoes on. They all had the same sneakers, dance sneakers on. And I put myself right in the middle of them. And I'm like, I want the judges to see that I fit in the group of these people. I had no idea what I was getting into myself. I just, oh my God. I think back of it and it makes my hands sweat. But I kept making it past the cuts. And then, I was in the middle of a parking lot in the middle of somewhere in the middle of America. And this was before the days of cell phones. So it's been that long ago. And I was told, you're going to get a phone call at this time. But I was out on the road. I was teaching with Universal Dance Association. So I had her call my mom instead. And so every 10 minutes, I would call my mom and go, hey, Mom, it's me. She's like, hello. I'm like, hey, it's me. Anything news? No, not yet. And I'd call again. Hello. Any news? No, not yet. And then one time I called and she's like, Trish? And I said, yeah. And she goes, you made it. And I was all by myself in the middle of a parking lot, jumping up and down. Ah! And my mom's on the other side in tears because that meant I was moving to Los Angeles. And so being the awesome mom that she was, she's like, I'll support you for a year. You have a year to make it. After that, you have to come back home.
And did you make it? What happened?
Yeah, I made the team. Look, so get this. I moved to Los Angeles. I'm a Laker girl. I, through Laker Girls, get an audition to do some kind of pay-per-view show with like Shaquille O'Neal and Akeem Olajuwon. So I go to the audition and I get that job too. And this girl that was doing the job with me, she was from out of town. So I said, just stay with me while we're here rehearsing. And so when she was here, she's like, I need to go to my agent to drop off some headshots. Do you want to come with me? And I said, sure. So I go to the agency. This is Bobby Ball back in the day. And, she introduces me to the agent, and the agent's like, do you have representation? I'm like, no, I've only been here a couple weeks. I'm a Laker girl. I'm doing this job here. They handed me a contract on spot, no audition, nothing, like just full on representation contract. So here I am for 2 weeks. I'm a Laker girl. I booked my first job. I have an agent without even doing anything to get an agent. And I'm like, this is so easy. Like all I have to do is book one job a month and I can survive. Like I was like, dude, I got it made. This is it. I'm on the top of the world right now. And then reality set in.
How long had you been there before reality set in? Curious.
Oh, a couple months. It was a couple months. Yeah. There was a point where I think I had $2 in my bank account. I was eating donut holes for like a week straight because donut holes were like 12 cents each. So I like have a couple donut holes here and there. Like I survived for the week with my $2 and my donut holes. I'd say that's probably rock bottom.
I love that story. I have to admit, I was in the same place once in my life, only it was microwave pizza that you could buy.
Hey, it's way better than donut holes.
But you had no regrets, I'm assuming.
Oh my gosh, no way. No way. And that's like, we talk about philosophy, and that's one of the things that is one of my drivers is I don't want to not do something because I don't want to be 80 years old thinking, what if I would have done that? I mean, what if I would have gone to Los Angeles and made auditioned for Laker Girls? I wonder what would have happened, right? I just don't want that. I'd rather know that I tried and it didn't work out than not have tried at all.
So now I want to take you somewhere else. You seem to not have any fear. I've noticed that when it comes to Rhythm Works, where you were doing these in-person seminars, that during the pandemic, you've had to come up with a way to make them mostly virtual, and all these other things that I see you creating. For our viewers, how come you're not in a place where many people are, which I would say is just uncertain and scared maybe? You seem to be rolling with the punches and coming up with, well, let me try this, let me try that. Give us some thoughts on having that kind of attitude, Tricia.
Is that what it looks like? because there is kind of like a holy shit, what am I going to do, right? So, I don't think anyone's immune to that. I think we all feel those feelings of, oh my gosh, what's, right? But what I have learned, especially over the past 10 years or so, is that challenges present themselves for reasons, and we either roll with it or we die. We get stuck. Not die in like death, but what we're doing is gonna stop. So you have to start thinking outside of the box. You have to start looking at other opportunities or new avenues, or expanding your network, or just anything to move you off of that spot of despair. Because we all go through those moments, and I am not immune to that. I just took the last 3 months off. Well, not off, but I've really kind of tried to pull back a little bit over the past couple months because I was starting to get a little bit of the fatigue. Because you like full steam ahead, do this, do that, do that. But, you take the time when you need to take the time, and you come out refreshed when it's time to come out refreshed. But I really think, looking for the opportunities that you may have been shut off to. Like for me, I put a lot of my focus into real estate now. So I find that that's kind of a generator for ideas and information. I'm learning so much through real estate that I can apply to dance.
So I'm curious. Our viewers don't know this, but you said this to me the other day, and I wrote it down. You said, "I am not dance." Okay, and you kind of said it that way.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about journeying into real estate. I'm talking to the person who created Hip Hop in a Box, and Rhythm Works. What did it take to allow yourself to say, "I am not all dance"?
Yeah.
I want our viewers to hear your answer.
Yeah. So, I look back at the time when I sold my dance studio, and it took me 2 years. My husband begged me to sell the studio because it was literally killing me. Like it was sucking the life out of me. And I couldn't do it. I was like, who am I without my studio? Everything that I did was wrapped around the studio. My friends were there. My self-worth was there. And I didn't know who I was without that. And it took a massive tragedy for me to really get knocked down and do a lot of soul searching and rebuilding to realize that my value didn't lie in what I did. It lied in how I did it. And so for me, I look at what are the most important values to me. And that's, in doing things with integrity, doing things that are going to better the people around me and better myself, or, make a positive difference in some kind of way. I can do that whether I'm teaching dance or working with customers for my short-term, vacation real estate investments, or looking for shells outside, or whatever it is that I'm doing. I can take those qualities, who I am, into those things with me. And once I separated myself from dance, it opened up a world of opportunity for me to expand and grow and gain some knowledge in different areas. And I love dance. I love dance. Is very, very woven into every cell of my body. But if dance went away, I would still know who I am, and I would still be okay with that, and I had to look at that when I went through this tragedy earlier, it was 10 years ago now. It was very possible that I wasn't going to dance again.
Tell us about the tragedy, if you would. Do you mind?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think some people know about it, but I mentioned earlier that I got pregnant right when you asked what wanted me to teach for you. And 5 months into that pregnancy, I lost my son, and I almost died as well. And had the most amazing blessing given to me during that time, and came away from it knowing that there was things that I still had to do, and that I just needed to be aware of it and open and follow the signs. I had to be present and follow the signs. And I had made peace with the fact that that very well could not, it very well might not have anything to do with dance. Fortunately, it did, but I was open to the idea that it could be something else. And that gave me a sense of freedom from feeling like a failure if I didn't continue on with dance. Does that make any sense to you?
Total sense. Total sense. So did that tragedy, loss, turning point in your life, did that have an influence on Rhythm Works? Is that
big time? Yeah.
Describe that.
So, you go through the cloud of, of sadness that follows something like that. But on the other side, I started thinking, okay, I'm ready. Show me the signs. What is it? What do I need to do? And I just became aware. And everywhere I went, I would hear someone say, does Hip Hop in a Box work with kids who have autism? Or I would meet someone who has autism, or a parent would talk to me and say, my son has autism and he loves to dance. And it's just all around me. So I started to think, well, maybe it is something to do with dance, and maybe I need to do a program for kids who have autism, or, something. And through a process that took about a year, I call it my year of yes, I came across the most amazing people and amazing opportunities and information and education at the right time. It was the right people fell into place at the right time. And what I realized was all the things that I had done my whole life, all the people that I had met, people that I'd gone to school with, things that I had done, bits and pieces from those moments came back to start to shape what RhythmWorks was going to become. And never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined that I would be doing RhythmWorks, or what that program might have even looked like, and what the impact that program would have on the world. But I was just open to it, and it just flowed in, and I was so hyper aware of everything coming in that I just started collecting information and people, and then at some point it started to present itself into what became RhythmWorks. And I look back at the catalyst, which my son is that catalyst for that, and how he's embedded into RhythmWorks. And during my trainings, I always say at the end, I say, Hamilton, there's the part in the play Hamilton at the very end where he's having he's about to be shot, and he says, legacy. What is a legacy? It's planting seeds in a garden you never get to see. And to me, RhythmWorks is Draylen's garden. So Draylen is my son, and he's not around to see what RhythmWorks became. Mm. And I go out and I train teachers and therapists how to use the program, but I don't get to see the kids that they're working with and the difference that they're making. And they don't get to see the difference that they make with the parents and things that happen outside of the dance class. It's just this never ending garden, and you look at those things and you're like, those are the little things that matter when you do things with integrity and with purpose, that you change people's lives. But the thing is you never know it. You never get to see it. You just have to trust that it's there and that it's happening. And it's such a deep gratitude that I have for this program and the opportunity to impact countless people in Draylen's garden. So.
And you're doing that. I hope you allow yourself to pat yourself on the back for that. You are influencing beyond what you can see. That's something I try to tell dance teachers all the time. You teach somebody that inspires somebody else to pass on what you gave them. And you never know those people who got a piece of you because it was actually coming through yet someone else you inspired. You're doing that.
Thank you. I hope so.
So, Tricia, to our viewers, what do you say about trying to pull up your bootstraps and head into 2021 with a confidence level and a no fear kind of attitude? I'd love to hear your philosophy.
You just got to Nike it. You just got to do it, right? You got to do it. And here's the thing. Everybody's like, well, I don't have all the information. I need to do, I'm not ready yet. You just got to do it. Go in, figure it out while you're doing it. Nobody knows. People who have babies and they become parents, did you know everything about raising a kid? No. you know, and you're still learning, right? But you're doing it, right? So you just jump into it. You ask questions. I think that's one of the most important things, is to ask people who have been there before, right? So someone has done something similar to you. And I will highly recommend, I'll recommend two things. Get some kind of, you know, coach that's in the dance industry, and get a coach who's not in the dance industry. Because there's so many things we can learn from other industries that we can apply to our dance business that are new and unique and different. You know, going back to what you talked about at the beginning of the show, doing something that's different. Do your thing, find your niche. But, you know, ask questions as you go, and figure it out, and pivot when you need to pivot, and remove things that aren't working and add things that might work, and give it a try. But, you know, you'll never do anything if you wait until you have all the answers, because you won't. I mean, I train people how to work with kids who work with special, or who have special needs, but I don't know everything about that. You know, but I know enough to teach people and help them along the way. And I continue to learn as I'm doing this, and then pass information on. But, you know, just do it.
Just do it.
You might fail. You might, but like you said, it's not necessarily a failure. You'll learn some lessons, right? And if you might stick with it, you might not. But you might not know. Like, it's better to know than to not know, right?
Tell us a couple of your failures.
God, like every day I have failures. My hardest thing is staying on track, you know, because I'm like squirrel. Yeah, I
ask because I too, all the time, people say to me, wow, you're so successful and look at what you do. I can list off 10 things I've done in the last 10 years that were total failures.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they happen every day, but for me,
go ahead.
Yeah, for me, I don't look at them as failures, because I learned something and I see the purpose of it. I see that, okay, I needed to learn that because now that's going to happen, you know, help me over here. I mean, I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in real estate deals that didn't go right, in business opportunities that didn't go right, you know, products that I've invested a lot of time that didn't. I mean, I can go on and on and on about all these things, but I mean, maybe I have a hard time answering it because I don't look at them as failures.
No, okay, that was the wrong word. I was the wrong word. I take total responsibility for that. But it's so important for people to know that it isn't about everything working. It's about trying this and learning what worked and what didn't work. Sometimes what didn't work is the lesson you needed most, so that you take the next step to what does work. Yes?
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, you think you might want to do this one thing, and then you get involved in it and you're like, maybe I don't want to do that. Like I'll give you a perfect example. I went to school to be a chemical engineer.
Ooh, chemical engineer. You're a smart girl.
That's right. I had the best chemistry teacher in high school. I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. This is great. I went to I went to school and had my chemistry teacher in college, and he sucked. And I was like, I don't want to be a chemical engineer. This is not fun. And so then I was like, I think I want to be an architect, because I really liked real estate. So I decided to change my major to architecture. Went to my first architecture class. There was a bed in the classroom. And I was like, why is there a bed in the classroom? The teacher's like, well, we do a lot of projects, and a lot of times the students will stay here overnight, do their project, take a nap, and then wake up and come to class. And I was like, yeah, that's not for me either. So then I had like 7 majors in the 2 years that I went to college, and just realized I want to be a dancer. And so I dropped out of college and moved to Los Angeles, became a Laker girl, and here I am. You know, so I can call that a lot of failures, but, you know, once I got into it, I was like, maybe this isn't what I want to do.
And you were somebody who wanted to be a dancer. unlike most of us who grew up in a studio, and you still believed you could be a dancer.
Yeah, why not?
I love that about you, Tricia Gomez.
You know, I mean, why not? I mean, I tried it and it worked out. It could have not worked out, and I could have went back home and became a chemical engineer again. But you know, and that's going back to what you talk about. You were just asking me about what should teachers do coming up. You know, you got an idea, give it a try. Why not? Just put that on your wall. Why not?
I have to agree with you. Even since 2020, or these last few months have started, I've done 3 or 4 different things that I've tried, and a couple of them have worked and a couple of them have not. And that's okay. I'm grateful that I still have a foundation, which I hope everybody listening is hearing, a foundation to build upon. All of us have created that in this time, whether you're struggling or not. The foundation is there and it's strong. It's what can you do with this foundation to keep the walls up and steady?
Yeah, and you know what? Don't apologize. Don't apologize because you have to go on Zoom, right? Like, it's not your choice, but it's what you have to do in order to, you know, you have compliance that you have to do. And so now you're doing Zoom like this, and you don't need to apologize for it. You just roll with it. And I really do think that people will kind of follow your attitude with it, right? And yes, you're going to lose people. You know, you probably would have lost them anyways, even in person classes. So, you know, you do what you got to do, and you make the adjustments where you got to make the adjustments. And, you know, is it ideal? No, but let's find the good things about it and what works. You know, I see people all the time having students that are moving across the country, you know, so why not let them join your class via Zoom if you're doing a hybrid version of the class, and retain that student. And, you know, why not offer, you know what I would love if somebody wants to do this, and if you want to like send it out to me, I want just a basic ballet class, adult basic ballet class, or an adult basic hip hop class, or just something adult fun that's just us having a good time. It's not, you know, other, like, I don't want to dance with teenagers, and, you know, I'm 45, I don't need to be doing that. But I would love to take some Zoom classes right now, but I don't know where to go to look for them. Or so if you have a good adult Zoom class that it's just a bunch of like old people having a drink, doing some ballet, you let me know.
Speaking of that, let's do a toast. And I know that you were supposed to, because I had it planned, to share a quote with us when we started, but I got so excited to see you that I didn't allow you to share your quote. So after we toast, I would love for you to share your quote with everybody. This is a toast to 2021 and looking for all the good that we can in 2021, and letting go of fears and just going for it. Cheers, Miss Tricia.
Cheers, just do it.
What's the quote that you came?
Okay, so it's this book right here. Clint Salter actually sent this to me a long time ago, and I love it. I hold on to it because it's a really good book. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be, so I'll see if I can read this. So it says, I used to see a butterfly in my mind's eye every time I heard the word transformation, but life has schooled me. Transformation isn't a butterfly. It's the thing before you get to be a pretty bug flying away. It's huddling in the dark cocoon and then pushing your way out. It's the messy work of making sense of your fortunes and misfortunes, desires and doubts, hang-ups and sorrows, actions and accidents, mistakes and successes, so you can go on and become the person you must become next. And I think I like it because it you know, we all go through a lot of crap, but it's there to shape us, and it's there to guide us. And I like how she refers at the end, it helps you become who you must become next. Because we don't stay stationary. We're constantly in motion. We're constantly growing. We're constantly changing. What used to be important to us is no longer important to us. We have new things that are important to us. So it's that process of good things and seemingly bad things that shape us to become who we are. Because I truly, truly believe and 100% know without a doubt that the things that come into our life are there for reasons. And you either learn your lesson or you keep getting the same lesson. So if you're in a situation that you don't like, look for the lesson. After I had my situation with when I lost my son, I was like, okay, I'm never letting it get to be that bad. Like as soon as things start to get rough in my life, I'm like, okay, what's the lesson? What do I need to learn here? Because I don't want to stay in that uneasy feeling, right? So I'm always looking for the lesson when it's tough times. And, I think that helps to shape your brain from looking at, oh God, you become, instead of being a victim, you become a survivor, and you're like, all right, thanks for sending that over to me. Got my lesson. Let's move on.
I say this back to you a little sarcastically. I'd like to graduate from the learning everyday lesson. So.
Agreed. Yes.
Or a year off, maybe.
Take a sabbatical from the lesson.
Yeah, don't people take a year off from learning every once in a while? Yeah, I'd like to take a year off from just having to learn a new lesson.
I feel you.
And hasn't this last year been one of maybe the most lessons we've ever experienced before?
Yeah. But how exciting is that? It's been tough.
I say the same thing. I talk to people who are upset a lot about where we are right now. And I have to say I am, and like everyone else, I'm broke. But I know that we're all in the same boat. And I can see some good stuff that's coming out of this. I've seen dance teachers have dinner with their children, and that had never happened in their whole career.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
Absolutely.
I've seen people communicate with their students and the families in their school in a brand new way, a much more authentic way. And that is only going to make the future a whole lot brighter.
Yeah. And, and I hesitate to say this because I know we're in the business of helping people stay in business. But, sometimes maybe it means selling a dance studio. Maybe this is that catalyst that helps you to move on to that next thing. Or maybe you sell the studio, but you still teach. Maybe, you want to stay in the dance industry, but maybe in a different capacity than what it is right now. How can things look differently? Like if during that 2 years I was telling you about before I sold my studio and my husband was begging me and I was very hesitant, I still had in the back of my mind, you probably need to sell the studio. Like it was sitting there, back there for a long time. And I was terrified, not just of losing who I was, but I was like, well, I wanted to stay in the business of dance and I still wanted to teach people, but I was like, well, what kind of credibility am I going to have if I don't own a dance studio or if I'm not teaching dance class every day? How can I go and train teachers if I'm not doing it, right? And so I had all these fears, not fears that would stop me, but just kind of concerns, I guess, about what selling the studio would mean for my future dance involvement.
But the reality of that was, in order for you to get to that place, you couldn't be doing the studio anymore. You needed. It was meant to be. I think I said it. I said it much more eloquently in the beginning when I was reading. But our journey is kind of like there for us to see clearly if we choose to.
Yep.
If we listen to the signs, if we're open enough with our eyes to see what's happening around us that's really guiding us.
Yeah. I had pulled this out because I was reading some stuff, and I won't read it exactly, but it talks about like looking for truth and life's learning lessons. Let me see if I can find the. There's a question to ask: does this drain power? Does this drain you? Right? And if you're in a position where it's draining you, then the question to ask is what do I need to empower me? Because there's so many decisions we make based on other people. But if I don't do this, what are they gonna do? If I don't do this, or if I do this, then how's that gonna affect these people? But to us, it's draining to us, right? And to me, I feel like that draining feeling is the first signal that we got to look at. Something needs to change. Something needs to change. So I don't know what you need to do to do that. But yeah, so hang on, let me see this. So Oprah, I love Oprah. Do you love Oprah?
I love Oprah.
This is a great book right here, you guys. Go get it. She says, so every single choice we make is either going to enhance the spirit or it's going to drain the spirit. So, when we think about all the things we do on a daily basis and say on a daily basis about ourselves and about other people, is it enhancing you or is it draining you? And I think when we look at purpose-driven actions and purpose-driven careers, and we have those difficult choices to make, I think looking at that question of does it drain me or does it empower me, will give you the answers and to help you know when you get to that fork in the road, which one to take. And I think when you act based on that, there's a sense of peace that comes with it, knowing I'm doing the right thing. I don't know what's next, but I do know that this is the way I need to go because it feels like the right way to go.
You just said a word that is my word. If you go to my social media, or when I say that, my Facebook page, the only thing I say is peace. That is what I feel I am in pursuit of in this life. Peace, and I'll add to that patience. I smile when I say that. Because patience is the thing that, I don't know, you know how you're told you're here to learn a specific lesson?
Yeah.
I think patience was it, and I've already messed up. It's too late.
It's never too late. Never too late.
Okay, we are coming to the end of our program. Will you stay with us for a second, Tricia?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. I want to say thank you again to Recital Ticks. We appreciate you. If you are interested in sponsoring Soul to Soul, contact Greg Betancourt at greg@regold.com. And Tricia, I know that you're working at the Dance Life Teacher Conference. We're going to share a video about the conference now. There we go.
Well, if that doesn't pump you up, I don't know what will.
Thank you to Troy who created that video. And honestly, I get excited every time I see it. I can't wait to be in a room with a group of dance people. And I'm thinking positive that we're going to be in person and we will hope for the best. I get excited about the conference, and Tricia will be joining us along with many others. You can join us next week, Friday, 8 p.m., Terry Mangiarardi, and I am going to have an awesome conversation with her. If you'd like to check out past episodes or podcasts or other information about the Regold Company, check it out at regold.com. And Miss Tricia, as we close out, a couple words of wisdom.
Oh.
I know we've talked it all out.
I like your peace. I like the goal of peace. And, you know, we're all going through challenging times where we have to make decisions that hurt to make because it doesn't seem like there's a right decision to make. But, you know, stay true to who you are at the bottom of your heart, in the middle of your bones, deep in your soul. Ask yourself, you know, when you weigh the different things, which one feels right to you, for the best thing for you, not for your kids, not for your family, not for the students in your studio or this or that. Like, what is going to bring you peace, and act on that. Because peace, I think, is a great goal to have.
I'm really glad I asked you for some final words because those were good ones. I appreciate you, Tricia. I appreciate all of our viewers.
You.
Spread the word about Soul to Soul, and we will see you next Friday. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.